early slate of games today on DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo, and FantasyDraft. Every site you could have out there going to have some games today. I'm Chris Spags, joined by my pal, my early morning on the West Coast pal, the Chubster, Josh Engelman. How are you doing, Josh?
I'm pretty good. Probably better than you at 8:30 in the morning for you. I've been up for 5 hours now.
I've been up for 2, and I tell you what, to jump right in, every day for the Four Corners, I do a similar thing, but I kind of get an hour to like look at stuff and get my brain ready. And now it's like, nope, just let's jump on here. Also kind of cold in my apartment in the morning because I can't sleep unless it's cold. So I'm wearing a hoodie, even though it's like 80 degrees.
So that's perfect. I wish it was freezing cold in here. I had like coffee, soup. That's the best. It's always easy. It's always easy to get colder, or always easy to get warmer. It's really hard to get colder.
That is true. Yeah, I'm not a humidity guy, which I mean you have a little more of down there.
Oh, I hate it.
That'll make it hurt real bad.
I hate it so much. That's why I don't go outside. I went out just to clean the skimmer of the pool. We'll say that this is a 60-second task. I immediately hated myself. More than I normally do.
That's hard to do for you too.
I know, for real.
So even though this is an early show, we are sponsored by Yahoo Daily Fantasy. And Josh, you are the veteran of the Yahoo plug, so I'll turn it over to you here. But why should the folks go to Yahoo Daily Fantasy right now?
So 2 separate reasons. One, just because they're our presenting sponsor, and I've given you guys this message ad nauseum over the past couple months. You can get no management fee contests. You can get lower management fees than you see across the industry. It's not 150 max, it's going to be 10 max. You cannot beat that piece of it all. But the most interesting part now, they've posted their NFL contests. And there's some fun stuff. I'm pulling it up on the screen right now so that everybody can see it.
Yeah, the $1 million baller is the big one. You get $1 million guaranteed, $100K to first, $50K to second. It's a flat payout structure. No management fee, 10 entry max, $25 to enter, and 25% of the field is going to be paid out, or at least double their entry fee. So yeah, that's a pretty nice little tournament there. And the $1 million baller, I enjoy that branding. Any $1 million branding, I think I'm on board with, but I like the baller. It's got a little bit of an urban feel too, which I appreciate.
I love this. So $25 to get in, no management fee whatsoever. You can do a max of 10 lineups. So that's going to be $250. If you put a lineup anywhere in the top 200, you're profitable for that entire tournament, no matter what happened to the other 9.
Ooh, that's good math for you right there. That's why we turn to you, the data expert here at awesemo.com.
Well, 100th through 200th pays out $300. After that, it drops to 200. So anything top 200 or more, you get $300 back on that lineup, and you're profitable. So you don't have to worry about finishing 7th like you do in the mini max and get $100 back. Top 200 out of 40,000, and you've already paid off your entry fees for it. That says nothing about a top 10 finish paying out $7,500 first for $100K. This might be the most advantageous NFL contest that will run in week 1.
And Yahoo too. I mean, not, the consumer base there, you are getting a lot of general interest folks in there. So you're not competing as much, or quite as much as you are on DraftKings and FanDuel, let's say, with the high value, high dollar players as much. Because Yahoo's getting your grandfather as a fantasy league might check out Yahoo Daily Fantasy, your stepdad, whoever it may be. So you are getting a better competitive field there for just a 10 entry max. So you have a real shot to take that down. So go check it out now. Where do they even go? Where to go to the Spotlight Stacks article?
Yeah, so you want to go to the Spotlight Stacks article, which we can drop into chat right now. That is Emacs daily article. At the top of that article, you will find information for how to sign up. It'll be a link to Yahoo, and you could use the promo code AWESEMO to get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports Rewards points. If you want to put it into perspective, that's one entry into this no management fee $1 million baller contest. You only have to come up with the other 9 after that. If you want to max enter it. I know for a fact, before I enter any other contest for week 1 NFL Sunday, this $250 will be the first $250 I spend.
All right, that's a big cosign. So go check that out now. Go check out the Spotlight Stacks article, which is Jake Hari, the baseball savant, was kind enough to post into the YouTube chat. So check it out. Go sign up there because Yahoo supports us. And of course, they are offering you guys some really great deals, both for MLB and this football season. I'm sure NBA season as well. All right, so should we go game by game, or do you want to just go pitchers and hitters?
Whatever you want to do. However you feel more comfortable, we can do it. I have everything in front of me, so.
let's go game by game because I think we have enough time to do it, and that'll get my brain working a little bit here.
That also helps a little bit since FanDuel has the split slate.
Oh, there you go. All right, so this is a 9-game early slate on DraftKings. What is the makeup on FanDuel?
I don't know, 5 and 4, maybe.
Okay. Oh God, that's even more illogical, I think.
I mean, I can give you the actual answer. It's 5 and 4. 5 for the very early, 4 for the early. And thanks to FanDuel's lovely way of breaking up this slate, I'll be playing neither of them on their site. So,
all right. Well, either way, let's go through it all. Let's go Texas and Toronto up front. Texas getting 4.8 implied runs for them going against Sean Reed-Foley. Toronto getting 5.7 going against Kobe Allard, who was a man resurgent in his first start. Only threw a couple innings there, but his first start of the year, he had a really good strikeout rate with a 37% K rate. Of course, as everybody expected with that Kobe Allard day where everybody was dying to stack up against him, had a pretty decent showing, even though it wasn't, I think only pitched like 4 innings and change. But still not a bad first start there. Toronto's still looking pretty good with that team total. And obviously it being their home park, the roof is open there. So that's going to give a little more boost to the balls there. And I could see going to Toronto, but they are going to be pretty chalky. Texas, I'm not so into. Sean Reed-Foley keeps the ball down pretty well. 2.5% on run rate, only giving up a 175 ISO overall. And especially to righties, not giving up much with a 150. So I wouldn't be dying for Texas here. I could see going to Toronto. And I could honestly see giving a dice roll to Colby Allard, just given the fact that he looked like a resurgent pitcher in that first start. But what are you seeing in this game, Josh?
I guess the exact opposite. I will not be playing Sean Reed-Foley. I will not be playing Colby Allard. I like the Rangers a little bit more than I like the Blue Jays, just because I think I don't know. They're both cheap, available power. I prefer the lefties for Texas compared to the righties for Toronto. Is kind of the easiest way to do it. I mean, both of these teams are super cheap. On my original dummy crunches, I got like 6 to 8% of both, with a slight lean more towards the Rangers. They're not separated by all that much for me. I think that the upside of the Blue Jays is a little bit higher. They just have a couple more like legitimate power bats. But I think that the Blue Jays are getting a little bit more ownership than I think they should, whereas I think the Rangers are getting a little bit less.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, look, the numbers for Allard going back to last year, he only faced 66 batters going back to the beginning of last season, but the whip was much higher, gave up a 2.4 whip over that span, a 15% K rate. And in his 19 batters he's faced this year, that's been down to a 1.4 and a 3.9 xFIP. So he's been looking better. I mean, look, I think at his price, well, I guess his price actually does kind of suck. Never mind.
Yeah,
but
a little pricey.
Yeah, if you were in the 7K range, I would feel a little better about that. But yeah, he's not projecting terribly well. So maybe not a time to go to Allard, but he's one of those guys where I feel like whenever a guy takes a big jump like that, especially when, I don't know, he just looks so bad, I'm curious to how he's going to do in the future. But yeah, at 8,300, I can't imagine landing there. I would say, though, Bo Bichette, I think he always gets kind of a bit underowned, even though he's been one of the better hitters in that Toronto lineup. And I think also him in the leadoff spot has kind of changed them around for the better, where they've been hitting better overall since he's been in there. Like, I agree with the ownership for Guerrero. Well, less so for Guerrero because he's been pretty bad versus lefties on the year. Well, 69 WRC plus for him and a 131 ISO. But I think these guys, I could see owning them. But I would also own Bichette with them because I think Bichette's really the engine driving that. And ownership's only going to Guerrero, Grichuk, and Teoscar Hernandez, it looks like, on DK.
Yeah, the only reason that Bichette doesn't get more ownership is that he's 4,900, and which is the most expensive hitter on either side of this game. Just a tough fit more than anything else. I don't mind the talent. I would say that favorite hitter in this game is probably Chu for me on the Texas side.
Yeah, Reed-Foley has been worse versus lefty. He's given up almost a 200 ISO to that side of the plate. Chu with that 135 WRC plus in the leadoff spot at 3,900 on DK. That's very cheap for Chu, especially in this kind of park too. So yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be crazy about the stack of Texas, but I think going with the one-offs there, either Chu or Santana, I think those guys would be the ones I'd want the most. Mazara too, I don't really hate.
I had 9 5-man stacks on my dummy crunch of Texas and 7 of Toronto. So like I said, we're in the same ballpark.
Yep, that's fair. All right, let's go on to the Yankees. The Yankees, who, of course, hitting everything, just pretty much any ball put over the plate. Somebody in that lineup is hitting a double dong on any given night, it seems, lately. They're getting 6.5 implied runs at home going against Baltimore, who's getting 4 implied runs against J.A. Happ. J. Happ, more like J. Hapless, so I feel like I've made that before, but just getting worse and worse in terms of his numbers as the year goes on, down to a 19% K rate on the year, 4.9 xFIP. Swinging strike rates down to 9.9%. Which not as big of a drop from where he was last year, but still just not looking good. Still don't mind the idea of him going against Baltimore, but the projections really don't shake out well for him, which kind of surprises me at this point. And then on the other side, I think the Yankees, obviously a team that you're going to get some of. Been playing them. Every time I don't expect to go in and get a bunch of Yankees with our projections, I end up landing on them. And I'm pretty fine with that, though. They are going to be chalky here. The guys you'd expect, Aaron Judge, Edie Gregorius, and Gary Sanchez, going to be particularly chalky on DraftKings. And no ownership going to Ursula, who is now priced out the ass at 5,100 on DraftKings. What are you getting in this game here? I'm assuming you're going to go to some Yankees.
Yeah, I have a ton, twice the field as of right now. Massive amounts of all of the legitimate hitters in this lineup. I just don't see how you don't do it. Big time implied total. Dylan Bundy with the propensity to give up home runs constantly. I just don't understand how I wouldn't have Yankees in large mass.
Yeah, I mean, the power just keeps showing up for them time and again. On the year, they're at a 216 ISO versus right-hand pitching, and Bundy has been giving up a lot of power to both sides of the plate. 243 ISO overall. And even though the strikeout stuff is there, this Yankees team also strikes out under league average, so they are not going to offer up a ton of opportunity there. So Bundy, not a leverage play I think I would get to with that projection he has, but would that be even a thought for you here?
Nope. I got literally zero.
Yeah, okay. What about J.A. Happ? Because he's going to be owned.
I have a little bit more than literally zero.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard for me to get to Happ. I feel like I've had my moments throughout the year. I'm like, J.A. Happ seems like a good spot. I think he's only had like one good game versus Toronto this year. Everything else has been terrible. I don't know that for a fact, but that's
I have 37% right now.
Oh, okay. So that's more than zero.
Uh-huh.
He
look, the Orioles stink.
What do you think is his high point total on the year?
I don't know, 22.
26.25.
That's fine.
But he has only been over 21, 2, 3, 4, 5 times on the year.
Oh, that's better than I was expecting you to say. Look, he's 7,100. I don't mind so much. He's cheaper than Dylan Bundy.
He is cheaper than Dylan Bundy. And going against Baltimore, which is not a bad thing. They do strike out. Hanser Alberto really the only guy in that lineup I feel like I would worry about. And even then, he doesn't have that much power. So,
most owned guy I have in the Orioles lineup is Nunez. I'll have a little bit of the Orioles, but it won't be full stacks.
I was going to say Baltimore. Yeah, Baltimore not as unappealing as it may seem because you do have a bunch of guys around that 100 WRC plus level. So they're close to what you'd expect a player to be able to do, which I guess is a positive for them. But Steve Wilkerson, every time he's in the lineup, makes me laugh. -3 WRC plus.
So brutal, man.
Like, how do you just keep putting? I mean, I guess at this point they don't want to waste service time or whatever on guys who might be better, but. Like I just don't get. There's no number on him. Maybe defensively, I don't check defensive stats that closely, but really just offering nothing at all. And I feel like you could get a hitter who could offer something. 43% K rate for a guy who's like a speed hitter who doesn't have speed.
Yeah, he is one person that I have zero of.
Yes, old Stevie. I would not trust a baseball player named Stevie. I would trust a female lead singer named Stevie.
So would I.
And also an assistant to Kenny Powers, I would also trust. Whose name's Stevie.
I would also trust Stevie Janowski.
So those are the Stevies I would trust, and Stevie Wonder. I guess any musician named Stevie. I guess.
Well, I don't trust Stevie Wonder because he's not blind.
That's true. He would not be a good hitter. Could he be a worse hitter than Stevie Wilkerson? That's the question.
No, he would be better. He can see. That's the thing. His
Stevie
blindness
Wonder?
is not true. We've gone over this.
You are a Stevie Wonder truther. I forgot about that.
I am. All the evidence is there. Grabbing things that are falling. That is not something blind people do.
Oh, Matthew Prodwell. Spags Wilkerson had a home run yesterday. Oh, okay. So he's turned it around then. My bad.
I mean, that's a pretty big turnaround for him.
With his 1% home run rate, his worse than Billy Hamilton 1% home run rate, I think he can finally figure it out.
You won't take him for a dong pick.
No, the coward that I am, I'm telling you what, man, the dong picks we could talk about for a quick second here. I've been pressing with them like recently where I'm just throwing shit out there because I don't know, because I'm running so bad with him every day. After I pick a guy, he hits 2 home runs. It's just, I sometimes lose out on a guy who hits 2 home runs. I'm just like, I just want it to be over, man. It's been like, I told Jake it's like getting my wisdom teeth pulled every day on this show.
I don't think we got anybody last night. I don't remember anybody gloating.
Ugh. I mean, finally, with old Double Dong Jake and EMAC and his barrages, it's just terrible. And no, to your credit too, you're doing
better
fine.
Be to my credit. I have the highest pick rate of anybody.
You do.
Yeah.
On to the next one. Boston heading into Cleveland here. Boston get a very low for Boston team total here of 4 implied runs going against Shane Bieber, whose strikeout stuff has been there pretty much as good as anybody in the league outside of Garrett Cole. 31% K rate on the year, 3.2 xFIP, and a 14.2% swing strike rate. So all the stuff you're looking for there. Getting barreled at a decent clip, though, an 8.2% barreled ball rate for him. So maybe some potential for Boston, but we'll talk about that. And Cleveland getting 5.5 implied runs going against Brian Johnson, who has offered nothing, getting hit hard, 5.8 xFIP, 2 whip on the year, only a 16.5% K rate. These are not, this is not a Cleveland team who I'm always dying to roster, but going against Brian Johnson, this is really about as good of a spot as you can get for them, given that they don't strike out, have some switch hitters. I think they can find some ways to get to him here. So what do you get in this game? And is any Shane Bieber going to be on your roster?
A little bit, but not as much as you would normally get on a Shane Bieber day. First of all, he's expensive. Most expensive pitcher on the slate for DK. That's kind of a tough sell going up against Boston. So I have 10%. That's kind of the best I can do. But I really just don't have Boston. And that really surprises me. But, Bieber's really good. It's not a great spot to get the Red Sox offense. A 4-run implied total is something you just don't see for Boston. That kind of explains how good Shane Bieber is. So for me, the thing that I'm getting most in this game is the Indians offense.
Yeah, I would agree. Going against Brian Johnson, as I mentioned, on the year, he's faced 97 batters. He's given up a 360 batting average, which is not good. I think I'll go on that limb and say that. And I think Cleveland looks good here. Nice total for them. And the prices are pretty reasonable outside of Lindor and Santana. And I guess Jose Ramirez is back up. I'm actually pretty glad to see Jose Ramirez approaching what he was last year. It really was the baby thing, I think. His wife must have really been giving him a tough time, or girlfriend or whatever. So he was that was bad. He really has turned around the moment that baby popped out. He's back to form, or at least close to it.
I didn't even know there was a baby narrative.
Yeah, he missed a couple games for paternity, and then that was literally the moment that he turned it around.
The only narrative that matters at this point now is the Will Smith playing in Miami narrative, which worked out very well for old Will Smith last night.
Yeah. Well, that was a hell of a call. Chris Rendon didn't put his full muscle behind it, but I think that was one where just the thought of it, and he had 2 home runs yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really solid pick. Chris Rendon, moments of brilliance really do shine through with him.
If he doesn't come to the plate I don't know if he does or not. He should be coming to the plate listening to Miami when they play in Miami.
Can you switch it stadium to stadium like that?
If I'm just the guy that runs it in the stadium, that's just what I'm going to play, and I don't care what he has to say.
Wait, opposing hitters don't get music, do they?
No, but I would play it anyway.
Yeah,
it's just fun. At least the crowd will be entertained by that. Maybe they'll boo him. It's Miami, so they probably don't care about the team, but
it's true. Honestly, I wish I just thrown a little bit of them in there. I had some of the random Dodgers. I had Jake's home run boy, Max Muncy, who was the only Dodger who didn't hit a home run in a couple lineups. And I was like, man, I wish I just that was a really catchy narrative. Just for that reason, it's worth one lineup.
It really is.
All right, let's go on to Minnesota at Milwaukee. Minnesota getting 4.6 implied runs going against Gio Gonzalez. Has been a bit of a man refound this year in some respects, at least keeping things in pocket even better, and also getting getting roughly the same amount of strikeouts, a little bit more. Milwaukee getting 4.9 implied runs for them going against Kyle Gibson, who's also a guy I respect pretty well. I think the pitchers here, honestly, are guys that I'm not dying to go against because I do think they're pretty competent in terms of keeping the ball down. 2% home run rate for Gio on the year. 3.1% home run rate for Kyle Gibson. Not a lot of isolated power for either guy giving up to either side of the plate, really. So I don't imagine I'll be here much for the pitching or the hitting. But Josh, what are you seeing?
I want to get more Twins. I haven't been able to get that to happen in practice. I actually have slightly more Brewers than Twins. This is a spot where I would rather have offense, but at the very least, I only have 5% Gio from a pitching perspective and only 2% Gibson. So that I guess I'm okay with, but I would have expected to get more of one of these teams. I might have to make some tweaks before I run my crunch just to make sure that it happens.
Yeah, Milwaukee going to have some ownership, but I don't know, man. I think that they do a good job. Both these guys do a good job just not giving up a ton of power. Being in Milwaukee is certainly going to help out a bit in terms of finding that power. But I feel like this is one spot. There is going to be some ownership for Trent Grisham just getting owned every night because of that being in the leadoff spot and actually being a pretty decent hitter so far and being pretty cheap as well. But I don't see the need to get there, and it feels a little bit overowned. Though I don't have our top stack for them.
Well, so Milwaukee isn't really that owned. The most owned anyone is really 10%. Grisham in the leadoff spot is 18, but that's not really like a part of the stack. So I think that clouds it a little bit.
Yeah, Hura is going to be only 1% owned. So I guess if you are looking at it in terms of the lowest man being what the stack ownership is,
right,
that would be one way to go there. And he's been really good actually versus righties. Not so good versus lefties, Hura is, but 167 WRC plus on the year and a 338 ISO. So if you're going to go to Keston Hura at 1% ownership, that's a pretty good spot to do it versus a righty. Any Minnesota at all for you going against Gio?
I'm trying to. I just can't get it. It's kind of problematic. I don't really know what I can do. I want to get some of the righty power, but as of right now, I'm getting basically zero of it. I want to get to CJ Cron. I want to get to Miguel Sano, Mitch Garver. I'm not getting to those guys. So whether that's just boosting up the Twins after I run a crunch or something, I might have to do that. But I want to get to Minnesota just because of righty power against Gio. Or lefty power against Kyle Gibson, for all I care.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the bullpens too being not that bad behind them. Like Milwaukee's bullpen's actually been pretty good on the year, and Minnesota's not terrible. I mean, they give up some hits, but the xFIP is pretty low, so maybe they've been a bit unlucky. Like I don't think either bullpen's making me feel like, oh, I need to really force the exposure there, because I do respect Gio and Gibson, and it wouldn't surprise me if this game hit the under or just didn't have the fantasy production you want to see.
I don't know what I want. I mean, if it ends up like it is. I hope this game just stays quiet if my ownership looks like it does now at lock. I hope it's like 4-3. All those runs come off the starters,
Yeah, that's fair.
Just enough to make everybody suck.
It's not impossible. I think mini stacks would be more the move for me. I just don't see these guys getting blasted. But anything can happen in MLB DFS, of course, as we all know from doing this every day. But I just think this is a game where they keep it in pocket well enough, and there's not a ton of value. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Yes, we will.
Let's go on to Houston at the White Sox. Houston getting 6.4 implied runs, which is one of the higher totals on the slate, going against Ross Detweiler, who has offered nothing on the year. 15% K rate, 7% home run rate. Also just giving up a lot of power, as you might guess, with that high home run rate. A 269 ISO, which is not so nice for him overall to both sides of the plate going back to last year. So that is not a great number for Detweiler, especially going against this Houston team who has a ton of power. One of the best hitting teams in the league versus lefties. 228 ISO on the year for Houston versus lefties. So yeah, I think the chalk ownership here is fine. And if anything, I think going to 5-man stacks may be a move to differentiate on DraftKings at least. And the White Sox, Wade Miley going against them. I don't hate the idea of Wade Miley. That price, though, is a bit untenable because he doesn't really get you strikeouts. But on this slate, I don't really hate him. I think I can see landing on a little bit of him there. But what are you doing with this one? I'm assuming you'll have some Houston. But if you're fading Houston, I feel like that's a Josh move too.
They are my top stack.
Okay.
I have massive amounts of Houston up and down the lineup. Way over the field. Happy to be there. I don't have as much Miley as I would have thought, prior to the start of the day. But at the same time, that doesn't exactly bum me out. He's Wade Miley and he's 9,400. I have essentially zero White Sox, and I'm clearly not playing Ross Detweiler. So the only thing that's truly interesting to me would be Astros bats, Springer, Altuve, Bregman, the three that I'm getting the most of. But don't sleep on the bottom of the order. Like, don't sleep on Yuli Gurriel at 5K just because he's expensive. He's not getting any ownership. He will help to make an Astros stack more unique.
Yeah, and this is one of those lineups too where every hitter besides Michael Brantley is over a 105 WRC plus in a lineup versus lefties. And people too not going to play Yordan Alvarez, I presume not wanting to pay that price versus a fellow lefty. But I think he's actually been better versus lefties than righties on the year. More limited sample size, but a 388 ISO and a 204 WRC plus versus lefties. Also an underleague average K rate at 21.8% for Yordan. So I think wouldn't be a spot to run away from Yordan here, even though paying that Mike Trout price for him is a little bit less than ideal for some people, I would imagine.
Springer, Altuve, Breg. I think the lineup is out. I never updated the lineup, but I think that it's actually just what it was. So
yeah, it's Springer, Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, Alvarez, Correa, Gurriel, Chirinos, Mrazek.
Yeah, we are missing a lot of lineups, which is really unappealing for me.
I feel like that's always the early slate thing, though, where like you got the early games, but then those afternoon games don't come in until like 2 p.m. Eastern time or something like that.
Yep, 100%.
So that's fun. That's a fun wrinkle for any of these slates, I'm sure.
It is so not fun.
So no White Sox interest at all for you, because they do have guys who hit lefties better, like Jose Abreu has some pretty appreciable splits versus a lefty. He gets a 147 WRC plus going against lefties, as well as better power with a 238 ISO. Ryan Goins, too, a limited sample size, only 50 at bats, but a 151 WRC plus and a 209 ISO versus lefties. And he is a lefty too, so that's an interesting little wrinkle for him. I could see many stacking these guys with the ownership on Miley, especially if it goes up a little bit as we get closer to lock. But just no interest at all for you for them?
Zero. Miley gives up no power whatsoever. 131 x ISO to lefties, 106 to righties. That's over the past 2 seasons. He just doesn't give that stuff up. He limits damage in a pretty substantial way. Chicago plays up a little bit more to lefty power than righty power, so even then a little bit more beneficial. But if I end up on one-offs of Jose Abreu or Eloy Jimenez, I'm okay with it, but they are not coming up, and I don't expect them to.
Okay, that's the reason. Yeah, that's fair. Also, somebody asking, isn't Bregman dinged up? If he's in the lineup, I think that's enough for me to have him in there. But if you want to exercise some caution because he's been hurt recently, at 20% ownership on DraftKings, I could see the reasons why you would do that. But I would just be inclined to play him for the most part, because if he's in there, he's probably fine enough.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, you're not?
No.
That is truly a shocking twist on the slate. Let's see. Any weather? Any weather concerns at all? They're saying Will Griffey in the YouTube chat saying that there are some weather concerns for Houston. I'm not seeing it.
I have no weather concerns.
Yeah, I don't see it on the site that I usually check. But yeah, and nothing on our postponement chances either on the projections either. So, assuming it's
there are places where it might be raining, but I am not making any changes to anything that I'm doing based on the weather.
Yeah, that's fair. And this one too, I feel like, doesn't this have to play because they already rescheduled one?
I don't know.
I guess I don't really know.
They're both AL teams. You can make it work.
Also, we got an ownership update 7 minutes ago. Of course, if you want to get in for those ownerships, and I guess what promo code should we even be using? I guess use promo code live before lock for half off your first month of Osmo Plus. Get all the ownership projections for every slate. Also, all the regular player projections, so you can just plug right into Fantasy Cruncher, the deep dive column, the lineup builder, the top stacks tool. A million different things that'll help you make better MLB DFS lineups every single day. So use that promo code live before lock for half off your first month of Osmo Plus. All right, let me just get this ownership up there, just in case anything got weird. This guy who's the number one pitcher too, we have not gotten to yet, and that's real wacky to me.
Yeah, well, I have more than what you're looking at, so shrug.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about this mystery pitchers coming up in the back half of the slate momentarily.
Brutal.
But should we do dong picks?
We can. So, are we implying that these will count today?
I think if I had to wake up, I think they count. And I think if they go off, they count. If they don't, I got two live before locks today, so I'll get 2 chances.
Yeah, I don't think it works like that.
I think it should.
It hasn't in the past. So night live before lock has always been the canon live before lock, or the canon dong picks. And I will not be making a pick tonight, if that helps you at all.
Well, I mean, because I can't not make it on the night show, because that's the one that people will
right. That is the one that is counting. I'm happy to make picks. I don't think that they should be valid. And I am saying that as someone who is not going to make a pick tonight. Full stop. I won't be around.
Fine. I mean, let's make a for fun pick, I guess. I swear to God, if this one fucking gets anything, I'm going to be a very upset boy. I'm going to be making this gesture the entire time.
Clearly you're going to get one here for everyone's satisfaction, but the floor is yours. Take whoever you want for this free roll that we're doing.
Well, if it's a free roll, should I just go to Coors and feel smart?
Will you feel worse when you don't get it? Yeah, that's fine by me. I'll win either way. You'll either get one on a Coors slate by picking Coors, and I'll be like, that's great, it doesn't count. Or you won't get one, and I'll be like, see, you suck so bad you couldn't even get Coors when we gave you Coors. I'll win either way. Take a guy from Coors. I'm cool with it.
I'll go to Jordan Alvarez.
Okay. Interesting.
Or Jordan Alvarez. I feel like people have been pushing to say his name is Jordan, which I haven't seen confirmation on that.
I will go with Alex's boy from last night, Franmil Reyes.
All right, so the for fun dong picks. So don't feel too confident in these like you normally would. I'm sure, but yeah, damn it, man. All right, well, let's get on to the Coors game. And if anybody else has any for fun dong picks, if the Baseball Savant or EMAC are around and they want to make one, we'll update you guys accordingly.
Tony S. I like that YouTube chat.
Oh, wait, where did
I'm not going to say it out loud, but I think that's funny.
Stop scrolling. I have to refresh. My chat locked on somebody's chat, and it's not now able to go down any further. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's not wondering.
No, but I like it. Like it's funny.
Also, with all the things that are getting filtered, I why is that not one that gets filtered?
It did.
Oh, okay. Did it? All right. I was going to say, we've been getting so many chats filtered lately. So if you're seeing no responses to one of your really avant-garde chats, that's the reason why, because YouTube's been aggressively filtering some things recently.
Yeah.
Are we doing the double dong on 4 corners today or none today? Probably none, but a possibility I do, and it depends how long it takes me after we finish this show, but we'll see. All right, let's go on to the Coors game. We have Arizona getting 6.9 implied runs, which is a very nice high team total on the slate, going against Kyle Freeland. Colorado getting 6.1 implied runs, going against Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray priced down here, getting a lot of strikeouts on the year, but of course the Rockies do have really dangerous hitters versus lefties with Trevor Story and Nolan Arenado. Their splits really jump up against a lefty pitcher. And Kyle Freeland, a guy who's really hard to get a read on the year. He hasn't been bad versus lefties going back to last year, but versus righties, giving up a good amount of power. Also this year, just giving up pretty good home run power overall, not striking guys out much. So I would prefer, I actually don't know what I prefer on this, but I would think I would prefer Robbie Ray as a pitcher over Freeland, and I'd probably prefer that Arizona stack over the Colorado stack. But what are you thinking here, Josh?
I have a little bit more Ray than Freeland. I don't really care which one I get. They're both unappealing. Freeland at 4,800 is just something I guess you kind of need to talk about just because of the price. From an ownership perspective on the bats, I have slightly more Rockies than Diamondbacks, but they are 2 of my top 4 teams either way.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's hard not to get some Rockies in there just because, again, you have these guys who can hit a lefty really well. With Story, who has a 146 WRC plus versus lefties. Arenado with a 174. Both guys have over 307 isolated power. So those 2 alone, I think it's hard to not get in there. And Ian Desmond, too, a guy I feel like people sleep on, but he has pretty good power versus lefties as well. And Ryan McMahon has actually been a better hitter versus lefties. So the full stack, I don't mind at all. But I think if you are going to, the chalky option is probably just going to be going to some version of Story and Arenado +1, I would think.
Yeah, I actually don't have as much Story. I do have a lot of Arenado, but I have more of McMahon and Dom Nunez and stuff like that.
Arenado is very cheap by Coors Slate versus a lefty standard. Only 4,700 on DK.
He really is.
Yeah, so I could see going there. Arizona, I guess, who would be your favorite Arizona guys? I prefer Arizona generally versus lefties because I feel like they have some pretty noticeable jumps for a lot of those guys. Kettle Marte, really good versus lefties. Not bad versus righties, but much better. You have I guess we don't have the full lineup out yet, but we have some guys in there. Escobar as well, who does pretty well versus lefties. Nick Ahmed, I don't mind either. Carson Kelly also has been appreciably better versus lefties on the year with a 342 ISO, which can come down. He's only faced 90 lefty pitches or lefty at bats. But I guess which Diamondbacks do you feel the most comfortable with? And I need Tim LeCastro for you because he's in the leadoff spot and looks like he's not going to be very owned.
Yeah, so I have twice the field on LeCastro. I have my most exposed Diamondback as of right now is Wilmer Flores, $3,800 for a second baseman. I don't have much Carson Kelly. There's no chance I'm paying $5,200 for him.
Okay, even to get the catcher in there, just to complete that stack.
I got 1%. I'm good. That's just a waste of money. I'd rather just play Dom Nunez in this exact same game for $2,300 less.
Okay, that's fair. I see the numbers that Kelly's put up versus lefties, and they do jump out. Somebody in the YouTube chat pointing out he's a lefty masher. He's put up a 59% hard contact rate versus lefties, as well as a 185 WRC plus, 342 ISO. He's been appreciably better versus lefties. He's not terrible versus righties, but only 4% ownership. I feel like going there is one way to differentiate that stack.
Yeah, he should be 4% owned, but he should be 4% owned even if he was $1,000 cheaper because he's Carson Kelly.
Okay, fair. He should. I think if you were a little bit higher up in the order somehow, I think that would make it a little more justifiable. But
right, I can't pay $5,200 for a guy that hits 8th. I understand that this is in Colorado and all, but it's just I can't do it.
Okay, that's fair. Let's see. Anything? I guess Ray. So how confident would you be in Ray? Because he's only going to be 11% owned. I think I would imagine I'll have double the field on him just because of the strikeout ability, a 31% K rate. And even though this Colorado lineup, I guess, well, they're 25% K rate for them on the year versus lefties. So the power is a bit of a risk because Ray's also getting barreled a lot, a 10% barreled ball rate for him. And that's not good in cores. But I think the strikeouts are there enough where at 8,100, I'm willing to take a double the field stab on him. Where are you going to be relative to the field for him?
I have 9% total as of right now.
Okay. So you are
slightly under. It's just not an area that I want to be, really. I'd rather either just pay down more to a guy that's not in cores or go all the way up to Strasburg, who we haven't gotten to yet.
Okay. Yeah, and Strasburg is going to be a very appealing option, but let's get to these last three. Last three games? Did we cover one? All right, I'm making sure I have my thing laid out right.
Padres, right. Giants, and Nats are the three remaining games.
Okay, so I'm all right then. Yeah, because I have all the games for today on my sheet. So I'm like, I hope I didn't mix one in that's not on the slate. Let's go then to the Tampa Bay at the Padres game here. Tampa Bay going against Cal Quantrill, who some people are going to have some ownership on today. Not a terribly great projection, but not a bad one. So I could see why people may end up there. Tampa Bay getting 4.4 implied runs, which not the highest, not the lowest. Kind of a mama bear approach here for Cal Quantrill in this matchup. And the Padres going against Jalen Beeks, who is also not been that great, not getting a ton of strikeouts, but also not giving up a ton of power on the year. And the Padres getting 4.6 implied runs. And I wouldn't mind them in general because I do like them going against a lefty and didn't pay off yesterday versus Brendan McKay in an appreciable way. But I could see getting Padres here against Beeks, and I don't mind the idea of Quantrill, especially if there were more righties in this Tampa Bay lineup, because he has had some pretty appreciable splits versus lefties, given up a lot more power with a 177 ISO versus lefties, and also a 1.4 whip compared to a 0.8 whip and a 1.14 ISO versus righties. What do you think you're going to have in this game here at San Diego?
Quantrill, I have 18% right now, so a little bit over the field. I'm under the field on Rays ownership. I'm under the field on the Padres. I have only 5% Beeks, which technically speaking is over the field, but ultimately just not really relevant. So Quantrill is the only piece of this game that I'm super interested in. Although, I mean, Manny Machado looks great at 4K dual eligibility. I'm just not getting to all that much because I won't have many Padres. So he'll get used as a one-off quite a bit, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a park. I mean, it's not going to be a power upgrade in any way for San Diego being at home. And Beeks has been keeping that thing in pocket at just a 2.3% on run rate on the year, 154 ISO overall going back to last year. So that's one strength of his, is not giving up a ton of power, and in a park that's not going to help out power that much. It's a little bit hard to get there, even though I could see getting Machado, because you're right, that price is pretty appealing. Renfroe too, not terribly priced. Margot, I don't mind either even. So
Machado is the reason you don't get to Bo Bichette as much.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, no, did Tatis get hurt yesterday?
Oh,
he's not on the projected lineup, at least the one that I have. But
I have him in. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. I don't really pay much attention to it. Since they give us lineups, I don't really care what's in my projected lineup.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah, if he's not in there, I think that makes it a much worse lineup because he's also been really good versus lefties. And the one that I pulled, that's Ian Kinsler hitting leadoff, which I think would be a pretty massive downgrade, and also just wouldn't make that much sense. But a decent price.
I see that as well. That is different than what I had earlier.
Yeah, I don't know, but would certainly prefer if you were going to go to the Padres, I'd prefer to have Tatis in there, but not a spot I would be dying to target either way. Let's go to another pitching friendly park. We got Oakland heading into San Francisco. Oakland getting 4.6 implied runs going against the belle of the ball today, Tyler Beede, and San Francisco on the other side getting 4.4 implied runs going against the not so much the belle of the ball Homer Bailey, but Homer Bailey projects for better value and a higher raw points total. Actually, better value, comparable value, and a higher points total. And Beede is going to be owned, though, like he is a great pitcher, and he is not. So what are you going to do here? Tell us about your Tyler Beede love.
Yeah, I have 50% Beede right now.
It's a lot of Beede.
Look, he's just cheap, and there's nothing else cheap that's viable on this slate. There are no pay it down options that I think are worth their weight. Beede's the only guy below Jalen Beeks that projects in double digits from Alex. Everybody else is either at 2.2 like Kyle Freeland, 6.4 for Brian Johnson. Beede has twice that. He's the only option you can pay down with to save some money. So I'm willing to take those risks in San Francisco.
Oh, there you go. Tatis had back spasms yesterday, and he's supposed to be out today. So that is why. So no, not looking likely to have Tatis. And in fact, you are going to have likely to have some Ian Kinsler and his 48 WRC plus in there. So Just people are updating me in the chat. So look, I see the logic for Beatty. I mean, Oakland will give up some strikeouts here, and I think that's sort of what you're hoping for with Beatty. But I don't know, like the power that he gives up. I mean, a 198 ISO overall, 203 ISO to righties. Like these guys have big power, and they could certainly get it done, even though the park is not going to be a favorable one. And they've been hitting well enough where I would be a little afraid of Oakland, I think, in this spot for a chalk Beatty. And I think I will have some leverage Oakland because it just looks like an appealing option. I guess, are you going to have any Oakland going against Beatty given that big stand you have on him?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So old gunslinger Josh is playing it as it lies.
Yeah, I don't have anything more than 2% Robbie Grossman.
Okay. I mean, like, I like the value. I get the park, though. I mean, that has been a really bad park for power on the year, especially. It's historically been one, too, but really not a good power park. But a kind of warm day in San Francisco in the mid-70s. I feel like relative to San Francisco standards, it's not the worst. And Beatty giving up a lot of hard contact, a 47% hard contact rate on the year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not playing him because I think Tyler Beatty is any good. The Oakland A's as a team are better than Tyler Beatty is at pitching, but that's fine to me because I don't have any alternatives. Tyler Beatty is a function of the slate. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, and he does have some strikeout ability. I mean, a 21.2% K rate on the year, which is not the best, but the Athletics lineup, their projected lineup, has a 23.4% rate, and that's versus righties, and that's not the worst either. So I get it. As far as cheap options, I get it, but I think I would be more inclined to come a little bit under the field and just roll some dice and maybe do some Homer Bailey on the other side, because I think he projects pretty well too. And San Francisco, not a big strikeout team, but Bailey at least maybe can be competent. And if BD gets blown up and you have Bailey too, like, I think that's going to be a lower owned appeal there if you had some Oakland and Bailey rather. Let
me see where I just did a recrunch. So I have 45% BD now.
Okay. That's more reasonable, I guess.
Something like that.
Yeah, I get it. I get why you would want to go there. And he certainly can be viable sometimes. And this park will make him the most viable that he can possibly be. But I would be inclined to get some Oakland in the mix personally, given that high ownership for Beatty. And Bailey, I got on the other side, Bailey real fast. Like, I think he's not terrible. I mean, he's, to me, kind of grades out similarly to Beatty. I think both on a value perspective and just an opportunity cost perspective, or an opportunity perspective rather. 20% K rate for him, giving up hard contact as well. But San Francisco just has less power to penalize you in a meaningful way. I mean, nobody in this projected lineup over 200 ISO except for Yastrzemski versus righties. So that's really not the most intimidating lineup to me. And not big strikeouts, but Bailey's been pitching fairly deep into games, at least deeper than Beatty, and not getting barreled too much either. Like, I don't mind Homer Bailey as a pivot to Beatty. You can pay up a little more.
So I have 19% Bailey as well. So I'll be there too, if that helps.
Okay.
It's just brutal, man. There's only so many places to go today.
I think that's fair. I agree. Like, I think that's a fair ownership for Bailey. That's what I would do. I think, honestly, I feel like 20% Bailey and like 30% BD would be what I'm looking at. But yeah, you can make an argument either way, I'm sure.
Got to take the stand, man. Got to take the stand.
So no San Francisco for you either, I assume?
Zilch.
Okay. That is fair. All right, let's go on to the last game on this early slate. Cincinnati heading into Washington. Cincinnati getting 3.9 implied runs, going against Steven Strasburg, who's going to be owned quite a bit, but looks like he's worth that ownership today. Washington getting 5.1 implied runs, going against Trevor Bauer, which just seems kind of disrespectful to Trevor Bauer. I know he's had some struggles this year with power especially, but still, this is a 3.2% on run rate overall in the year, and the strikeouts have been there, a 28% K rate. I like both these pitchers, honestly. Like, I think you can make an argument for the hitters as well, but I would imagine I will be closer to even on the amount of ownership on both Strasburg and Bauer. What are you feeling about these guys? And I'm presuming you're going to prefer Strasburg.
I do, by quite a bit. I have 28% Strasburg, so I'm just kind of right there with the field. I only have 5% Bauer. That gives me a little bit of pause, but ultimately not too much considering the Nats' talent.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I guess Strasburg, to me, just going through his numbers really fast, going against the Cincinnati team who won the year has a 26.6% K rate in this projected lineup versus righties. Also, the hitting on the bottom of the order, at least what's projected right now, pretty much falls off a cliff once you get past Aquino, who has been hitting really well so far in limited sample size. But all these other guys under a 90 WRC plus, and Bauer has been an atrocity whenever he's been up to the bat. So it should be some easy strikeouts for Strasburg, one would think.
Yeah, you should see in my sheet, talking about falling off a cliff. Aquino, so Winker, Votto, Suarez, Aquino, all like in bright green. Galvis, Senzel, Barnhart, and Iglesias are all in like red and pink and orange, and it's just like a very clear distinction in color.
Yeah, I mean, the power for those guys, like, I mean, Aquino, it's still a limited sample size, only 23 righties he's faced, at 23 at-bats, rather, he's faced in terms of right-handed pitching. He has a 682 ISO, which will come down. But then once you go past him, you get 150 ISOs for Galvis and Senzel, and Barnhart 140, Iglesias 120, Bauer a firm 0 for Bauer and his 9 at-bats. So there should be some wins here for Strasburg to get. I guess any Washington, I think we talked about it briefly, but let's just circle back because we have some time. Washington hitters here, no interest at all, because we do have guys who hit righties well with Rendon, Soto, and it's a quality hitting lineup, but I just think Bauer's good enough here. And it's not the best park, but actually a pretty hot day too. I could see getting to some Washington based on the weather and Bauer, but I think Bauer's good enough where I wouldn't want a ton of them. I think the field's roughly 8%-ish ownership seems fair.
I'm seeing 5 right now, but I honestly haven't updated their most recent, their announced lineup. But we didn't have anybody north of 8% on our last update. I have very little of the Nats. This is just not a game where I want any offense.
Okay.
Although if I were going to get any offense, it's more likely that it's going to come from Washington than from Cincinnati. Yeah,
I would agree there. The leverage would be there more for Cincinnati because of the ownership for Strasburg, but I think the spot here looks a little better for Washington. And I didn't update the lineup either. See if anything changed appreciably with that. Because we do have a Washington lineup and an Arizona lineup that have come out while we were doing the show. Let's see. Anything weird? Also, you want to do a Yahoo plug real fast?
Yeah. We touched on it a little bit earlier, but you should very much go check out Yahoo Sports as our presenting sponsor. I'm going to drop the link into the YouTube chat once again. Once I find it. We've put out so much MLB content so far today that it's been pushed off the main page. So let me just grab it quick. It's EMAX Spotlight Hitters article. If you want to get more information about signing up at Yahoo, get some YSRPs, those Yahoo Sports Rewards points. You can get up to $30 by signing up and using the promo code AWESOMO. They're running no management fee contest, lower management fees, only a 10 max entry. Their football contests are out for week 1, and they look absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend you guys check them out. I am not a monster fan of the NFL, but because of how good those contests are, Yahoo will be my priority.
And go check out the $1 Million Baller with $100K to first, $50K to second with a flat payout structure, no management fee, 10 entry max, $25 to enter, and 25% of the field is paid out, at least double their entry fee. So you are going to win some money back if you are remotely competent, one would assume. So go check it out now. Check out the link that Josh just dropped out in the YouTube chat, because Yahoo is one of our supporting sponsors, and they are actually offering you guys a really good way to build your bankroll and actually have a shot at some big paydays without competing against 150 entries, which is the gold standard out there.
We just got the Diamondbacks lineup.
Yeah, that one came at the same time as that. Let's see. So Tim LeCastro still in leadoff. Looks like nothing appreciably changed.
I have to run a crunch quickly. Lock is at 1237 because we can't have normal things.
No, in any aspect of life. Oh, the lineup didn't change at all, though.
No, it did not.
So that's a positive for you. You got that going.
Yeah, I guess.
If you have any questions right now, drop them in the YouTube chat or the premium Slack. And of course, if you're not part of the Awesemo Plus membership, the premium Slack is included with that. So go check them out, or check out all of our friends on Slack right now by going to awesemo.com/join using that promo code live before lock for half off your first month of Awesemo Plus. Looking at the chats for questions, see if there's anything good. Apparently there's a new YouTube troll du jour. What the indications seem to be.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a troll thing, but somebody just talking smack about this guy's opinions.
Well, makes sense to me. I'm sure they're not good.
Well, I believe in your opinions, Brandon, even though I can't confirm actually looking at them.
Oh, I didn't even know who you were talking about. Just a general assumption. They're usually correct. Yeti Express asking this question for more than the first time. I don't think either of us were Greek, so neither of us are the bigger frat boy.
Yeah, no. He really wants to get that question answered, though, huh?
Yeah. Ask better questions, get better answers, I guess.
I would say spiritually, I am currently more the bigger frat boy. And in fact, I currently have a glass that was used for alcohol last night on my coffee table behind me. So
Well, you pour your White Claws into a glass now?
Actually, so I had somebody staying with me over the last few days of the female persuasion who left behind some white wine. And I was like, well, I'm not going to not drink the white wine.
No.
So I had some white wine. I will probably be having some white wine on Live Before Lock later today. So subscribe and hit that notification bell. Watch me get sassy with my Real Housewives of DFS approach to drinking. Here's the question: should all players have sound bites based on their name for things they do in game? That's NBA 2K. Let's do that.
What do we mean sound bites?
Like a noise effect, like when a player dunks and it makes like the Mario coin.
No. I don't know. I don't. Sure.
Where's Spags' dog? They're on the couch. I think I'm just Penny. You can see Penny in the background. He's right there. Brown dog. Look in the background.
Oh, I should have not pasted these lineups in the way that I did. Everything is going so slow.
I was gonna say, are you getting anything in your final numbers yet?
I haven't run a crunch. I did. I mean, I ran a crunch before that Nats lineup came out. No changes to what I was talking about before. I'm not getting as much of the high end pitching as high end might not be the right word. I'm not. Yeah, I guess it is high end. I'm not getting as much of the high end pitching as I would have expected. But right now, I'm not getting anything because damn thing.
You're just getting only Tyler Beatty.
That's probably going to be the case. So, what are you gonna do?
Like, you've been nailed. To your credit, I have to say, like, I did the show with you when you were right about Kikuchi, and even though he gave up that home run immediately, he still ended up getting blasted by or rather got blasted in that one play, and then just had a nice day besides that.
Yeah.
And then Joe Ross, you were also right about yesterday, who was not a guy who I wanted to like at all, and I didn't go there, and I was like, you know what, this can't be right. And the lineups I had with him did pretty well. So
yeah, I wish that would have gotten me somewhere. It didn't, but it would have been nice if it did. Oh, and I guess we just got the Reds lineup, so there's that.
Oh, there we go. Does that change anything?
Wait.
I don't even know.
Okay, there it is. I was like, are they even on the damn slate?
They are. They are the main events of the slate, technically, I believe. It's not updated on Schmancy Schmabs.
I just got the alert on Fantasy Cruncher.
Oh, okay. They've been faster recently. I've noticed with their lineups sometimes.
Well, I need this to happen a little bit faster, just because I'm running short on time.
That's also why. So again, to just prove the point about our chat and a random filtering, Brandon said stinkiest stack is the White Sox, and that got filtered. I didn't realize stinky is one of the meter things we get in chat that needs to be filtered out. YouTube protecting us from ourselves. We don't want to be called stinky.
Yeah, thanks, YouTube, I guess.
Their community moderation stuff is very amusing. Like, they're now trying really hard to get less trolls in there. And it's like, oh boy, we know we have problems like white nationalism and stuff, but let's make sure we address people being called stinky more than anything.
Exactly. I might have to run this without the Reds lineup being populated. I don't see it anywhere else.
Yeah.
See if I can look it up quickly so I can make at least the changes manually. Yep, 55 seconds ago. So Reds lineup is Winker, Votto, Suarez, Van Meter, Aquino, Galvis, Iglesias, Barnhart. So no Senzel in the Reds lineup. It does include Josh Van Meter.
So that's a slightly better lineup,
I guess.
I mean, Senzel, he's okay having in there versus a lefty, but versus righties really hasn't been offering much. And Van Meter's, I think, actually not the worst.
Winker, Votto, Suarez, Aquino here. Josh Van Meter. God, his name's Josh. Senzel out for Freddie Galvis. Oh God, great. Iglesias and Barnhart are flip-flopped. I'm not even going to fix that.
I really hope that would completely change the slate for you. It's like, oh, Barnhart's at the 7 hole and not the 8.
No, it's like a 10th of an at-bat. I don't have enough energy to flip-flop their names right now. And by energy, I mean time.
Tony Ripa, we did home run calls for the early at the halfway point like we always do. I picked Yordan Alvarez and Josh picked who?
I definitely picked somebody.
Oh, you picked Franmil Reyes.
Yes, Franmil Reyes, obviously.
Yeah. Yes. That's how little they resonated in our brains. But yeah, they were there.
Like I said, man, they're fake today.
Oh God! When Jordan Alvarez hits 4 home runs today, I'm gonna politic for all of them to count.
And what's really interesting is that none of them will count, no matter the politics.
That's so unfair. It's just not.
You know,
not right.
I'm not broken up about it. I'm not gonna get my lineups in, so this is fun.
I'm broken up about the. You have 11 minutes. You're fine.
I haven't crunched yet.
Oh, that's an important part of the process.
I can't even get my sheet to update. I just don't even care anymore.
Are you crunching on Firefox too?
It doesn't make a difference.
See, I actually have noticed it's faster.
Every slate is different. So if you switch to Firefox on a day where it's 6 games, you feel like it's the coolest thing that's ever happened to you.
So I timed it out now. Like I did time it out one day on a 15-game slate where I was doing. I did a 5-3 accidentally on both, and it did beat Chrome by like a good 30 seconds or so for it to get to 500.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to run all sorts of weird stuff here anyway, so none of it matters. I still haven't gotten my sheet to update. There we go.
Poor Josh.
Gosh, just one of those days, man. I hate when we have like the lag lineups like this. It's
suboptimal, some would say.
Just don't run a stupid 9-game slate when games start 4.5 hours between each other. But they wouldn't include a 6 o'clock game if it was going to be on the main slate, even though it's the same amount of time. It's so silly.
So would you prefer the 5 and 4 split that FanDuel's doing, or do you?
Yes.
Or do you like the 9 better?
Yeah. I just would prefer FanDuel to actually run out good contests, which is not at all what is happening.
That is fair. What is this guy talk? I don't know yet. He's talking about. Is $1 Million Poker part of the Osmo team, and if so, who is he? I
don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna assume no. If it's a person with a logo, that could just be a person who's playing and trying to win the free month of Osmo Plus.
The D-backs released their lineup. Yes, they have. 15 minutes ago.
There's the other site with the lineup.
Yes.
That was a long turnaround time for that one.
Right. Yeah. Well, the good news is I do still have my previous crunch, so I can get lineups in, but it's going to be just an awful afternoon of using a fantastic tool. Late Swaptimizer will save me when all of these teams immediately just start pulling out other people.
Yeah, that's Late Swaptimizer can be a lifesaver for a slate like this where you just have things up in the air sometimes.
Yeah. It's hard, man. It's hard. Where is the lineup at? It's everywhere that lineups get posted, my man. Try the lineup builder for Osmo.com. We have a lineup page that updates with all of the updated lineups. That would be a great place to start.
Yeah. I don't know why you couldn't find that anywhere. I think it's literally everywhere. But Alec, for you, I will read you the lineup so you know what it is, because that's how much I care. It's Tim LeCastro, Ketel Marte, Eduardo Escobar, Christian Walker, Wilmer Flores, Adam Jones, Nick Ahmed, Carson Kelly, and bringing up the rear is Robbie Ray. So there you go. That's just for you. A little VIP treatment for you, Alec Caldwell. Let's see. What percentage of your bankroll do you guys invest in multipliers? I don't.
0.
Yeah. Tournaments, and then for NBA I play cash, but I don't play cash for baseball. NBA I find cash to be very helpful to balance out what you're doing in tournaments. But for the other sports, I guess I didn't play football cash last year, but I may this year, I think, a little more, because it does seem like there's a bit of an edge for football cash.
I don't play cash.
I don't usually, but I did find it helpful for NBA, because like I would win back like the amount I put into tournament entries on a given day with NBA. Like I feel like NBA is the easiest one to play cash, at least in my limited amount.
That's the one I would play the least personally.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm surprised. I had like really.
My opinion would be that NBA cash is the sharpest cash game that exists.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I think it's sharp, but I think it's also the easiest to do it with our ownership projections.
I mean, they're all easy to do.
Probably true. For me, mentally, it's the easiest to do. I'll put it that way.
I want no part of NBA cash. Unless I can play them rake free. The only person that's going to benefit from an NBA cash game was the provider.
Fair. Yeah, last year I was playing towards the tail end. I was playing the $25 one on DK every day. No, that was like working out pretty well for me.
Lock is at what time?
Nah, 12:37 Eastern time. So 6 minutes.
Oh, this is gonna be
David Sorella, thank you, buddy. Spags is the man. I appreciate that. Josh is also the man. We are both men, in fact.
I am not the man, that much I can tell you. No one will agree to that.
You are to me. You are to me.
Well, that's good.
You're my man.
Actually, I am going to put my old lineups into DraftKings right now, just in case.
Chili cheese fries or loaded nachos for post wake and bake snack. First of all, that's a very heavy thing to be taking in.
Yeah, I would recommend neither of those two things to wake and bake on a Wednesday. But
Jason Cornell is living the life.
I don't like most things that come on to nachos, so I will take the loaded chili cheese fries. But either way, your day is over.
Yeah, that's a brick in your stomach, which I can relate to because I ate like the most crap this weekend, and yeah, that's not. I like to go light for if I'm eating in the mornings if I can.
Yeah, I would just highly recommend doing neither of those two things.
William Regal is a man's man. You are correct, Lincoln Hawk. He's
Very
a real
true.
man's man.
Lincoln Hawk, as in the name
Bruce
of
Willis
the band from Gossip Girl.
Lincoln Hawk. I was thinking the Bruce Willis movie in the mid '90s, which I think it's the Gossip Girl band was named after.
That I don't know, but I think that was the dad's band from back in the day, and then he ended up with Lisa Loeb. Spoiler alert.
Wait, hold on. You're right. You're right that there is a band that comes out. Yeah, Rufus Humphrey.
Yeah.
Wait, so what is the Bruce Willis movie then?
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I didn't watch a lot of Bruce Willis movies.
Hudson Hawk. Damn it.
Oh,
Hudson.
I see where you're going with that now.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I was thinking more Lincoln than Hawk, and I was like, Lincoln High? No, that was like a basketball movie.
Lincoln Park, an entirely different thing.
Oh, yeah. Terrible band.
Though he would love your choice of hat. Fred Durst would be a big fan of the backwards red cap.
Wrong band. That's Limp Bizkit.
Oh, fuck. I am off the ball today. It's almost as if waking up an hour earlier is throwing my feng shui off.
Although, I'll be honest with you, I did enjoy the Linkin Park Jay-Z mashup.
Yeah, I agree. That was a pretty good use of their talents, respectively.
Well, I guess I'm going with these exposures.
Oh, yeah. So Lincoln Hawk was a character in Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, okay.
So what are your final exposures?
We'll talk about that in 2 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, if you could do shit now.
Jacob Treadway, you watched Gossip Girl, Josh. That's no judgment for that. I watched Gossip Girl, but I watched Gossip Girl as a person who grew up in New York and went to private school. And I'll tell you what, Gossip Girl, nothing like my life, but relatable in its own way. Getty Express, that's right. NBA may be changing their starting lineup times to address them and get them out earlier, which would be a godsend.
It would be meaningless.
No, if they
nobody cares about starting lineups. We care about late scratches. I don't care what time they announce the starting lineup. They're still going to scratch somebody at 6:55.
No, but I think the lineup that would be in would be the one that you have to play.
Yeah, and then somebody gets hurt in warmups.
I guess if it happened like that, but I think
I don't expect it to fix anything. We don't ever try to see what the starting lineup is. We want to know if people are in or out, and I think we'll still get just as many out after locks.
I guess. I think if you're saying that these are the guys who are definitely going to start, and that's the thing, like I think you're going to be more inclined to have less late scratches because those guys are the ones you care the most about getting scratched. Like a bench guy, I guess, could theoretically be screwed. Like a Lou Williams, if he were out and we didn't know, like then it's like, what are you going to do about it? But if you know all of a sudden Anthony Davis isn't starting, like he's probably not going to be in the game, or like he's not coming off the bench.
I just don't think it's going to solve the problem that people think it's going to solve.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think it just all depends on how they're enforcing it. If they're enforcing it like tampering, I would say it's probably not going to go that well for anybody.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think there's any way for them to actually enforce it.
Yeah.
I mean, guys like Joel Embiid, they're not going to be able to do that. Like everything that he does is based on how he feels after he goes through every piece of warmups.
Yeah. I could see it. I think it all depends about how they handle it. I want to believe they would handle it in a way where they're very pro gambling and very pro. I mean, they've been pro DFS. They were an investor in the league. Also, 1 minute to locks to get your lineups in. So I think it certainly could help out that process as long as they're actually abiding by the spirit of it. But if they're doing the Belichicky thing or they're just kind of being evasive, I think it's a tough one.
Yeah, I expect that it won't change anything that I do. So best case scenario is it works out exactly like we want it to, but I'm of the opinion that it won't.
Moses Guthrie in the chat. This will give you some positive juju heading into the last seconds before lock. He says, Josh, you sell yourself short. You've got man in your name. You are the Angle Man.
Thanks, Moses.
That was both positive and an adorable pun. It worked well for me.
Well, I've got my lineups in. Final exposures, top stacks, Astros, Yankees, Rockies, Diamondbacks. They are also the 4 most owned stacks on the slate. I am over the field on the Indians. I have a little bit of just about everybody, but I don't know. I don't really like anything that I've got for this early. So today will probably be the day where I do well. Massive amounts of Tyler Beede, massive amounts of J.A. Happ. So great.
The guys you wanted to have the most on the slate, that much is sure thing. All right, well, we are locked. So guys, hit that like button, please. The like button helps us out a bunch, helps us keep the lights on here. Of course, go check out our partners at Yahoo Daily Fantasy. They're offering all sorts of promos, all sorts of exciting new tournaments for the NFL season. So go check out the Spotlight Stacks article on the homepage of Osmo.com. You can go to find out how to sign up there and get your free YSRPs, your Yahoo points there that are just like cash, used the same way. Of course, also use that promo code Live Before Lock for half off your first month of Osmo Plus. There is a main slate today, which we'll have content for. In fact, I'll be back here in just a few hours doing Live Before Lock for that too. So go check it out. Go use that promo code Live Before Lock for half off your first month of Osmo Plus. If you want to go to osmo.com/join, that is the fastest way to do that and pick your package out. And Josh, how are you feeling now? Feeling good?
It is what it is. I made bad lineups today, and those will probably be the ones that win.
There you go. Welcome to the world of MLB DFS, everybody. So here's rooting for Josh. Here's rooting for each and every one of you guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in here early on a Wednesday. We'll be back with you guys in a little bit later today. So thank you guys for watching, and good luck.
Later, guys.